Hello, welcome to Bob's Dungeon. My name's Bob, I'll be your host. And I was just sitting here leafing through the Necronomicon when I realized it's getting close to Halloween. So I figure I'll do something different and give you some movie suggestions for the spooky season. And I'm going to suggest 5 movies for you to watch. Now, these 5 movies are all cult classics. So pretty much anybody watching this video has probably seen them already. And if you haven't seen something that I mentioned, I highly suggest you look it up because they're not called cult classics for nothing. Anyway, 4 of these movies that I'm going to mention are pretty gory, very bloody, nudity, bad language, so you probably don't want to watch them with your kids. But I try to include one movie that you could watch with your kids. Now, the movie that I'm going to suggest, we'll talk about when we get there. But these are all pretty good movies, and they're all lots of fun. So, these are my suggestions for Halloween. The first movie on my list is The Evil Dead 2, Dead by Dawn. This movie was released in 1987 and is rated R. It was directed by Sam Raimi, and it is starring Bruce Campbell. This movie is a sequel quasi-remake of the first Evil Dead movie, and this movie was followed up by a third installment called Army of Darkness. Now, there is a remake after that, and then a movie called Evil Dead Rise after that, which could be a sequel to either the remake or the original, however you wish to look at it. There is also a TV series that'll go along with it, but for this video, we're just talking about The Evil Dead 2, Dead by Dawn. This is a good movie. It is a fun movie. You should really check it out if you get the chance. It's about a man named Ash Williams who takes his girlfriend to a cabin in the woods, and they find a tape recorder that was left there by a previous tenant. And that previous tenant was there to translate the Necronomicon, and he used the tape recorder to record those translations. Well, they play the tape recorder, and it releases an evil entity in the woods, and it comes for them, and then Ash is left to deal with this, and he goes through a lot of stuff. This movie is really bloody and is just a lot of fun from beginning to end. And if you haven't seen it, you probably should. The next movie on my list is called Night of the Demons. It was released in 1988 and is rated R. It was directed by Kevin Tenney, and it's starring Kathy Padwell, Amelia Kincaid, Linnea Quigley, Hal Havens, William Gallo, and Alvin Alexis. This movie is probably the only movie on my list that takes place on Halloween. And this movie has 2 sequels and a remake. But we're just going to concentrate on the first Night of the Demons for this video. This movie is about a girl named Angela who is throwing a Halloween party at an abandoned funeral home called Hull House. And Hull House has all these dark rumors about it, urban legend type stuff. And so they have their party there. And during the party, they accidentally summon up some demons. And the demons start possessing everybody, and everybody's trying to get out, and it's pretty much a fight for their lives. And it's a very bloody movie. It also has a fair amount of nudity in it, and it's probably not one you should watch with the kids at all, but it is definitely worth a watch, especially for Halloween. The third movie on my list is called Return of the Living Dead. It was released in 1985 and is rated R. It's got 2 really good sequels, and then there were 2 more sequels that were made for sci-fi that are probably best forgotten about. This movie was directed by Dan O'Bannon, and it's starring Clu Gallagher, James Karen, and Don Calfa. And it also has Linnea Quigley in it again. This movie has a lot of gore in it, a lot of swearing, and there is nudity in this movie. But it is a great zombie film. Everybody says that 28 Days Later is where Running Zombies came from. That's a lie. Some people say this film is where Running Zombies came from, but the Running Zombies actually came from a film called Nightmare City years earlier. But this does have not only running zombies, but zombies that can think. So it's pretty good. This is where the brain-eating zombies come from. And this movie is it just screams 1980s, and it is a lot of fun. It's one of my favorite zombie films, and if you haven't seen it, you probably should. The 4th movie on my list is Dario Argento's Demons. This movie was released in 1985 in Italy, and it is not rated. It was directed by Lamberto Bava. This movie has a sequel called Demons 2, and there is a string of other movies called Demons with a number that aren't related to these films at all. And you could tie a movie called The Church to this one, but it's not really a sequel. But could be. It's confusing. But anyway, this movie is about a girl who gets some tickets to go see a horror movie. And her and her friend go to it. And it's a rare horror movie, like was lost and now found kind of thing. And they go to see it. And during the movie, once again, demons are brought up and start possessing everybody. And they start killing each other. And all the people are trying to fight their way out of the theater and not get killed. And it's a very bloody movie. And tiny bit of nudity, but not that bad. But it is very gory indeed. And it is a lot of fun. And I would recommend it. But probably not a good watch with your kids. The 5th and final movie on my list is The Gate. It was released in 1987 and is rated PG-13. It was directed by Tibor Kakacs, and it stars Stephen Dorff, Louis Tripp, and Krista Denton. This movie has 1 sequel and no remakes so far. This movie has very little to no gore. I mean, there is a couple of scenes that could be considered gory, but it's not that bad. There is absolutely no nudity whatsoever in this film, and the language is not that bad either. This movie is about some kids that accidentally release some demons again, the great old ones, and the great old ones are trying to release darkness into the world and make the world dark so that they can take over again and destroy mankind. It is a really fun watch. This is one that you could probably watch with your kids and it'll be alright. There are some scary parts in it for really little kids, but nothing that's really, really bad. There are a lot worse things out there. And this is all in all a really good movie to watch for Halloween. Those were 5 movies that I really enjoy. They're a lot of fun. If you haven't seen them, you should look them up. They're pretty fun. But I do warn you, the ones that aren't that are rated R, they're rated R for a reason. So you want to watch them probably without the kids. So thank you for listening to me, and hopefully you'll join me next time where we'll talk about something else. Bye.